Hi guys, it's been a while. So we're back at the Cliff training grounds to knock off a few recipes. Today we're going to look at doing the chicken tikka lasagna, which I know is a bit controversial and I'll probably get a couple of complaint letters without it, but we'll go with it. And then we're also going to do the little chocolate granola, which the lads enjoys after the main courses. Right, so let's crack on with the chicken tikka lasagna. So what we're going to do is take a couple of onions, just peel them down to start off with, without them running away everywhere. Just in half. We get those peeled down. So these onions are just going to go into our tikka sauce, which we're going to make with our nice little tikka marinade rub that we've got there, which I made earlier. We're going to use that marinade to marinate the chicken, and we're also going to use that for the base for the tikka sauce to go into lasagna. So what we'll do is when these are cut, nice hot oil, get them in the pan. Touch of salt just to bring out the sweetness in the onions. Add the spices, cook that through. Add chopped tomatoes, cook that out for about 20 minutes, half an hour. We'll add the cooked chicken into that, a bit of spinach as well. We'll make a bechamel sauce to go with that, classic bechamel sauce with cheese. We'll layer it all up and then we'll stick it in the oven for about 20 minutes, half an hour at 160 and see how that turns out. We'll now move on to the chicken. So this is just diced chicken breast. You can get that from your butchers or diced up yourself. So what we're going to do now is just add some natural yogurt to that, which will also tenderize the chicken and add flavour. Then going to add probably 2 to 3 nice big spoonfuls of our tikka marinade. Give that a good old mix up. Now, you can do it and add it and then cook it straight away, or you can have it marinate that overnight or a couple of hours. It really doesn't matter, but obviously the longer you leave it, the nicer the marinade would be and the deeper the flavour will be. So again, we'll get all that mixed up. Or just wash my hands quickly. Touch of salt. And then onto our tray that we've got ready here, lined. You can marinate it for 20 minutes, half an hour would be fine, or overnight would be even better. So you can sort of pre-plan your tea ahead. So that's all that done. We'll just go and pop that in the oven. And then the next stage, whilst that's cooking, we'll crack on with the sauce. Okay, so now the chicken's in cooking, what we're going to turn our attention to now is the tikka masala sauce. Now, it's probably not a traditional one, but it's my one that we use here. Again, I'll probably get complaints and shouted at because I'm doing Italian and Indian cuisine at the same time, but it kind of just works. So we'll just start off with a bit of veg oil in the pan. We'll get that in there. And what we'll do then is I'll just add the sliced onions that I did earlier on with a touch of salt, like I said, some more of the seasoning, bit of cinnamon stick, give it a bit of sweetness, chopped tomatoes. We'll season that up, let that cook out for about 20 minutes, half an hour, adjust the seasoning again, and make sure we're happy with that. So we might need a little bit, because we're using chopped tomatoes and stuff, we might need a little bit of sugar, a little bit of salt to balance the acidity in the tomatoes. We'll add a bit of yogurt to it as well, just to lighten it like a tikka, and we'll see how we go from there. In with the onions. Touch of salt. Again, just so we start bringing out the sweetness of the onions and everything. We'll get rid of all the dirties, give it to my glamorous assistant Gilly. So there's the onions, nice and sizzling. We'll just let that do its thing for a minute or so. Sweat that down. And then we'll add the seasoning. Once we add the seasoning to it and the spices, we'll get that cooked out a little bit. Again, 2 or 3 minutes, just to take that rawness off of it. Add the chopped tomatoes, and again, like I said, just let that cook. Just gonna throw a cinnamon stick in there, like I said. That's just my preference. You don't have to. Just need to make sure we take that out later on. Then we add the spices. Good cup of 2-3 spoonfuls of those. And again, we'll just let that cook out. Maybe a touch more oil in there. You can slice onions like I have, or just put a couple of 2 or 3 onions in the blender, chop them up. That way, either or, not really fussed about it. Again, we're not after Michelin stars and stuff like that. Just some nice hearty food for the boys for when they come in from training. So let that cook out, and then we'll add the chopped tomatoes and let it do its thing. So that's had its thing now. We're just going to add the chopped tomatoes. And again, like I said, just let that cook out. We'll add a touch more salt into that now, and then we'll adjust the seasoning later on when it's ready to put together. Okay, so now we've got the sauce on cooking. Next job is to make the bechamel. Classic bechamel roux sauce. So all it is equal quantities of butter, flour and milk. So I've got 250 grams of butter going in there. I've got 250 grams of flour weighed out, ready to go. And we'll just cook that out and make a nice little roux cheese sauce to go with the lasagna. Again, classic flavors of the lasagna. I'll add cheese nut later on, some parmesan, and we'll just build it up and just cook it off later. In the meantime as well, because we can do more than one thing, so we're going to check the chicken in the oven, see how that's getting on. So as you can see, cooking down nicely, and we'll adjust again. We'll give that a taste up before we build that as well. I'm sure it tastes lovely, but we'll just make sure it's okay. Again, nothing out of the ordinary, nothing chefy about any of this. People can do it at home. I'm sure the recipe might turn up in a little book that might be out at Christmas time, rumour has it, we don't know. So that's melted now. Add the flour. Nice little sandy texture. We'll let that cook for a couple of minutes, just to cook the flour out, and then I'll add the milk. Now, classically, the way I was taught at college, you have the milk, warm, studded onion, bay leaf, and you stud the onion with cloves, classic French cuisine. But if you're looking on the rest of it, if you look at Michel Roux and all the other boys, they just make it like this, and it still works the same, and it still tastes nice. It's time to check the chicken. Yeah, looking good to me. So that's all nice and cooked, juicy. And what we do is we'll let that to rest now, let all the juices sort of settle, and then we'll put all the gold back into the sauce and mix it all together. So now going to the cheese sauce, I've got some nice cheddar grated down, but I'm kind of missing something. Gilly, can you do some Parmesan cheese, please? I'd like to introduce you Gilly. Gilly's the main man. He helps me out here every day. If I couldn't do it without him, so he's just going to help me out now, grate a bit of Parmesan cheese for me, because he's a bit dangerous doing anything else. And let him carry on. Gilly's been with us. Gilly's kind of been with us since day one. Took him in out for the street, gave him a job, and he's still here since. I can't get rid of him. But no, he's a top man, and all the boys like him. Real good addition to the team here at the Cliff, and we try to be professional anyway. So now we're at the stage of building the chicken tikka lasagna. The chicken's cooked, all nicely rested. The sauce has been made, seasoned nicely. What I've done there, once the cameras are off, I just added a little bit of spinach to it, a bit of iron. The cheese and the cheese sauce all ready to go. So all we do now is just a simple process of building a lasagna. I know everybody knows how to make a lasagna. I'm just going to add the chicken into the sauce. So we know that tastes good. We know we're happy with the seasoning. The chicken's cooked nicely, all mixed in, and all it is now is just an assembly mix. I know it doesn't look very glamorous, but it's rustic. A couple of ladles, bit of meat on the bottom. I don't claim this to be my idea. We're just looking for something different to do with chicken. Many moons ago, when I was working in Manchester, I had the privilege of being a development chef for quite a lot of well-known supermarkets. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to name them or not, so I won't for legal reasons. Don't want to get myself into more trouble. And we just came up with this kind of idea, racked our brains, and just come up with chicken tikka lasagna. It went into a certain supermarket, sold really, really well, one of the top sellers for the year. And the rest is history, really. Sort of, I forgot about it, and myself and Gilly were having a conversation one day of what can we do, something a bit different, and this kind of popped up out of nowhere. So we revisited it again, sort of did it, wasn't expecting such a great response from it. And then everybody is just, all the players, like every time they go, what's the lunch today, John? Chicken tikka lasagna. And the reaction that I get is unbelievable. And the queue at the door, funnily enough, people come out of training as quick as they can to get out to make sure they don't miss out on the lasagna. So like I said, it's just a normal, basic, everyone's made a lasagna. So layer first, some pasta, some lovely cheese sauce, which Gilly Klein very kindly grated some Parmesan for me to go through that. Be quite generous. I'm only going to do 2-layer one today. Normally it's a big gastro tray's worth. Again, this will feed about 4 people. Obviously I've got to feed 60 people, including the academy boys and staff and everything. Not forgetting Sue and Cheggers, because I know about it if I do a nice one and Cheggers isn't here. Like I said, it's not traditional, something a bit off the cuff, a bit rustic, but full of flavour, tasty, and there's something a little bit different. Again, the lasagna sheets, you can pick that up. Nothing special about the lasagna sheets again. Just give that a good old press down. Finish it off with a nice cheese sauce again. Now, ideally, you can let that sit for a good 10 minutes or so, just so everything gets soaked in and absorbed nicely. But as we're just here now, I'm going to finish it off with some lovely cheese. Put it in the oven, about 160 again, 160, 180, 20 minutes, half an hour, just check it. Nice and golden brown and bubbly. So Parmesan cheese, there we go. Some grated cheddar. You can use whatever cheese you like. I just like the combination of these two. The Parmesan cheese is quite salty, so again it's another little bit of seasoning and a nice bit of strength from the cheddar cheese. So just pop that in the oven and let that go. Fifteen minutes to half an hour. I want to check it after 15. Probably take about half an hour to be fair. So timer's just gone off. Looking at lasagna, looks like it's ready to come out. The old classic chicken tikka lasagna, one of the firm favourites here at the Cliff. So lasagna's cooked, it's out of the oven, nice and bubbly and gooey. Just gonna unashamedly, because it's really nice and rustic, just get stuck in and serve up a portion. So we'll just take the end bit, which is nice, lovely. So you see nice chunks of chicken, bit of spinach, bit of sauce on the side. Clean that up a little bit because I'm a messy so-and-so. No airs or graces, just a nice plate of food. Comfort food, absolutely. Easy to knock up at home, something a bit different. Midweek tea, there we go, cheap and cheerful. Enjoy. Okay, so we've done the chicken lasagna. We're going to go on something sweet now. So I'm going to make the little chocolate granola that the guys enjoy over lunchtime when they come back in. A little bit of a sweet treat, giving a bit of an energy boost. So what I've got here, and save you guys watching me weigh stuff up and bore your time, I've got 180 grams of honey, 100 grams of cocoa powder, good quality cocoa powder, 100 grams of soft brown sugar, and some coconut oil. So that's that part. Over here, I have 300 grams of rolled oats, 60 grams of destinated coconut, and 100 grams of coconut flakes. So what we're going to do now is just melt this down. Once it's melted down, we'll divide it between the two trays, and we just cook that in the oven, again at 160, first off for 15 minutes, give it a good stir, then another 10. We'll let that cool down. Once it's cooled down, we add dried cranberries and raisins, but again, you can add whatever you want, apricots, sultanas, anything that you like. But dried fruits just to make it all nice and a bit more sweetness to it. So we're just going to go and warm this through now. What I failed to mention as well earlier on is just I put a little pinch of rock salt in there, just so it's kind of seasons. I know it sounds a bit mad, it seasons the chocolate and it brings out a more chocolatey flavour, if that makes sense. So once that's melted down, all mixed in, we'll just take that back over to the oats that we got weighed out, stick it in the oven, 15 minutes, like I said. stir, and then another 10. So that's all warmed through now, everything's melted together, and we'll just mix it with the oats now. So like we said, we just divide that between the 2 trays. So everything's coated in a lovely chocolate, honey, sugar, all the good things. Who enjoys this one the most? Actually, Nico. He always sneaks in for a couple of bowls actually. Thinks I don't notice him sneaking up, but yeah, Nico. It's one of his favourites. He's actually had the recipe and made it at home. So that's how much he likes it.
Has he brought you in and try?
Has he out? Nico, I'm still waiting. Set the timer, 15 minutes, and just let that go. So whilst we've got that in cooking, and I've always wanted to say this, it's a kind of childhood dream come true. Here's one I made earlier. So that's been cooked like you've seen, the fruit added into a nice kilner jar, ready for the boys to sort of eat. So I'm just gonna sort of plate one up for you. So we've got a nice granola going in. Like I said, we've got some dried cranberries in there, some raisins in there. It's about the sort of portion that the boys would get. Maybe some fresh mixed berries or a little compote, but I'm going to use what we got here. So we've got the natural yogurt going on top as well, just to give it a nice little sourness. These are new additions, I made these today. So these are cinnamon poached apricots, so just some dried apricots, poached in a little cinnamon stock syrup. A little bit of the juice on that as well. Maybe one more for luck. And then we've got some lovely, just going to finish it off with some lovely honey as a little treat just on top. And that is one of the little dishes of desserts that the boys enjoy here at the Cliff.